Hello, everyone. Happy Black Music Month and happy Pride Month. The month is literally almost over, which is crazy. This week I was on vacation, but most of it was spent at home because my car was in the shop. So at least I got to do something last weekend. I visited my friend in North Carolina, so that was cool. But yeah, I hope you all are having a good June, having a good beginning of the summer. The summer, um, is really here. It's really here. It's been like a heat advisory all week where I'm at. I hope you guys are staying cool where you're at. Before we get started, as always, obligatory self promotion. What if I wrote the world? Poems inspired by music, by me. I have a little tiny update on my new book. I worked on the outline for my first chapter, so I got to keep going. I'm going to try to do the first 5 chapters, outline them, and then start writing, and then do the next 5, and then write, and so on and so forth to see how the story develops. So, yeah, and I think in one video I read the description for it. I got to make a separate video, like talking about the whole thing. But today we're here to talk about Frank Ocean's discography, and he is bisexual. He's come out. I want to say he came out on it during his first album. I'm pretty sure. And when I was like looking at the lyrics for some of these songs, there was one boyfriend that they did show, but there's not a lot, at least that I could see, or I didn't really look it up. But I'm sure there's somebody who's found all of his boyfriends and girlfriends. You know, people nosy, but he's pretty private, so I'm assuming it would be kind of hard to find all that information. But anyway, let's get into it. He was born October 28th, 1987. He's an American singer and songwriter. He has been credited by several music critics as a pioneer of alternative of the alternative R&B genre. He has won 2 Grammys and a Brit Award for International Male Solo Artist, among other accolades. Most of his studio albums have been listed on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. When I was looking on Apple Music, I saw Blonde was on a, I don't know if it's their 100s list. It might be their 100s list because I didn't see a note for um, for Channel Orange. So it might have been just their list. He's on their top album list on Apple Music as well. He began his musical career as a ghostwriter until the Los Angeles-based hip-hop collective Odd Future in 2010. The year prior, he signed to record producer Tricky Stewart's Red Zone Entertainment, imprint of Def Jam Records. He did release his debut mixtape, Nostalgia Ultra, independently though. His debut album, The Eclectic, I can't read. Eclectic Channel Orange came out in 2012, incorporated elements of R&B and soul music. At the 55th annual Grammy Awards, the album was nominated for Album of the Year and won Best Urban Contemporary Album. Its lead single, Thinking About You, was nominated for Record of the Year. He was named by Time as one of the world's most influential people in 2013. He had a 4-year hiatus, then he released his visual album Endless, which I did not really look at. So if you want my opinion on that, I don't have one. I'll be honest with y'all, I was feeling very lazy this week, so sorry about that. So I did not watch it yet. And that was to fulfill his contractual obligations with Def Jam. He only had a 2-album deal with Def Jam, which he negotiated a really great deal. I forgot how much it was for, but it was a good amount, like a couple, I think it was like over 10 million, maybe. But he had a really great deal, so he didn't really have to do like, some artists they have like a 10-album deal. He didn't have to do all that, so that was great for him. His second studio album, Blonde, was released independently the following day. It's kind of petty. He was like, "You wanted an album? No, I'll give you this visual album." Not saying that's not good, but hey, he got to do it on his own time. He expanded on his experimental approach. Blonde was met with critical acclaim, debuted atop the Billboard 200 and ranked first in Pitchfork's Best Albums of the 2010s decade list. After 2007, he released sporadic singles, worked as a photographer for magazines, launched his fashion brand Homer, and started Homer Radio. 15 of Ocean's songs have entered the Billboard 100, with 4 releases, singles, or albums have reaching platinum certification by the RIAA. That's a little bit about him. He's from Long Beach, California. Yeah. His little brother is on his second album, like a second part of one of the songs. So I thought that was cool. So he's a younger brother named Ryan, who I unfortunately I think passed away right before his 2023 Coachella performance. So that might have been an issue of why he wasn't in his best mind state or the best performing state when he went to Coachella. So yeah. So let's get into the albums. Channel Orange is his debut album, came out July 10th, 2012. The genre is alternative R&B, progressive soul, and neo soul. Excuse me. Where can you stream it? YouTube Music, Apple Music, Pandora, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Amazon Music. So, when I was looking at the lyrics for this album on Genius, some versions of this album have a hidden track with Tyler the Creator. My version of Apple Music did not, though. So, just pointing that out there. So maybe it's on the CD version. Maybe. I think I have. Don't quote me on that. I did not look. I might have this CD in physical form. So what are the vibes I'm getting? I was getting longing, wealth, and love. Are longing and love kind of the same thing? They might be. But let me know what y'all think. Is it the same thing? I feel like you can long for someone without really loving them. That's just my 2 cents. Of course, because I wrote the notes. I'm gonna say that. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you my favorite songs, my least favorite songs, and my overall opinion. So my favorite songs were Sierra Leone. It's a very beautiful song. Love storytelling. I love the storytelling and the imagery painted is very cute. A very sweet song about how he would be if he was a parent given the chance. And when I was looking at the notes for this one on Genius, I think his father left when he was like 5. So maybe that was his imagining of how he could give his future child a better life than he had. So I thought that was really sweet, but also kind of sad. Like, dang. And then, speaking of Tyler the Creator, who was the leader of Odd Future, who is like a close friend of Frank Ocean and close collaborator, was he on his newest album? I think he was on his newest album, Chromacopia, uncredited, but I think he was on there. But I'm glad that, like, I feel like everybody pretty much that was on Odd Future are still like good friends with each other. So I feel like that's nice. Um, so yeah. So I did not hear the bonus track. If you have heard the bonus track, did you like it? Did you not? Let me know. I really wanted to hear it, but my version did not have it. And I don't think Apple Music had an extra like version. You know how sometimes they have like deluxe underneath it, but I didn't see that. But maybe I just didn't pay attention. All right, Super Rich Kids, which is one of the singles, featuring yeah, it was featuring Earl Sweatshirt, who was another Odd Future alumni. It embodies the theme of excess wealth Frank's talking about throughout the album. Very smooth and classic R&B sounding. Love the nod to Real Love by Mary J. Blige. Um, Shows he wants more than just money and doing meaningless things. I forgot to talk about Earl Sweatshirt. From what I can remember, he was a great feature. I like Earl Sweatshirt. I haven't listened to a lot of his music recently. I remember him from the Odd Future days. And I feel like a lot of the Odd Future were just kind of controversy and pushing, you know, um, controversial things. So that's probably why I didn't listen to him before. But I've heard he's better now. And he's still going. He's still performing. He's still doing music. Everybody's still doing their thing. So that's cool. So he was good as a feature. I liked him as a feature. Pyramids. Oh my gosh, Pyramids is one of my all-time favorite songs by Frank. Honestly, it's gonna be my favorite song by Frank Ocean. I like Thinking of You. I like Novocaine, but this one, it's 8 minutes long. But I listen to it every single time, the whole way through. I love it. Love the imagery in his singing. The beat is great too, and when it switches, I love that too. So it like switches to like a want to say a slower beat. It's well, like if I can remember, and I love that. One I put 10,000 out of 10 for me. No notes, love it, perfect. Pink Matter is also. I feel like it's also another favorite song. It's really interesting. It's featuring Andre 3000. I always love this song. I love the metaphors and the imagery once again. So Pink Matter, I think it's supposed to be about a vagina and like women being pregnant and like um dealing with giving birth and how they just continue for the child and like how important are women really. I feel like that's kind of the theme. Very interesting background vocals, like kind of like some screaming and stuff. And I love Frank singing on the song. He sounds great. Andre's verses are great. He was a great feature. You know, when was this? 2012. He says now he doesn't have anything to talk about, so he did the flute album. I don't know. I feel like this song. I mean, song's very experimental, weird in a good way. Not like, oh my god, this is weird. Turn this off. But like weird, like, oh, turn this up. You know. I feel like he could do some kind of experimental stuff, like rapping Andre 3000, which is like not the point. But he was a great feature on this. But yeah, I mean, he's always been kind of different, so I feel like he could have came out with some rap, but he just didn't feel like he had anything to talk about, which is fine. So I did not have any least favorite songs for this album. I think this was so. Here's my overall opinion. I think this was a perfect debut album for Frank Ocean. I think it had great variety on the sound and the subject matter. It sounded great throughout. His writing was very imaginative and vivid. And I've always loved this album, so I might just be biased. LOL. So it's a no-brainer for me to give this one a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Nothing, nothing really negative about this one. I always like this one. Um, I think I need to I should put the whole album on my, if I have it. I can't remember 100%. If I have the whole album, I should put it on my phone because it's really cool. I really loved it. So yeah, no-brainer for me. That's my favorite out of the two. Spoiler alert. Blonde. I'm not gonna love as much. So here we go. Let's get into Blonde. It was released August 20th, 2016. The genre is R&B, avant soul, which I guess is short for avant-garde, but yeah. It's psychedelic pop. You can stream it on all the same places I just mentioned. The vibes are experimental, dreamy, and abstract. So my favorite songs were, my first one is Pink and White. Very cool summer love song. Very relaxing song and relatable song. And it's gotten popular on TikTok, so it's nice to hear like the full version because I see people doing the transitions and doing the videos with it, but I never heard the full version, so that's cool to see it. I mean to hear it now. Nights, very different. It stands out sonically from the rest of the album. The songs were starting to blend together, so this was a great like breakup of that. I love the beat change and the subject matters are varied on this song. Seems like he wants to prove his masculinity in this song and reminiscing on his past. Because I think there's like a skit on the song before talking about, oh, I get bitches, and I like the guys talking about getting women and stuff. And so that kind of like is very interesting that it seems like he's trying to um prove his masculinity. I guess after coming out as bisexual, maybe people were like trying him, which does, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. People do that all the time. When they think you're soft, they want to try you. And I'm trying to think, is this the song where he talks about Chris Brown trying to fight him? I think this was, which is crazy. Chris Brown. I'm not a fan of him, so sorry if you're a fan of him. But yeah, I think he talks about it in this song and like how weird it was. So there's that. And my last favorite song is Siegfried. I hope I said that right. Very experimental and interesting. Seems like losing love made him lose himself. Like heartbreak made him not stable anymore for that period of time. So that was a really interesting song. Very experimental and but interesting, sound wise. This time I do have one least favorite song, and it's Futura Future. The first half was fine, but they had like interviews at the end that were very disjointed. And without reading the lyrics, I would have not been able to like follow it. It would have been hard to follow because it's like different people talking. I mean, you could tell like they're different voices, but you don't know who is talking. But this is the song that had his little brother Ryan doing interviews, and his little brother sounded like really little, like maybe preteen, teenager. And then he had uh, Nakel Smith, who is a skateboarder, but also is a rapper. And I want to, don't quote me on this. He hangs out with, like, I know he hangs out with like Tyler the Creator and stuff, but I don't know if he was officially on Odd Future 100%. But he hangs out in the circle basically. And then they had other people on there. I think it was like a music producer and like maybe a photographer who was interviewing the people. It was a bunch of notes on Genius about who everybody was, but I can't remember everything. But here's my overall opinion. I can definitely understand why this album is critically acclaimed because it is very experimental and different for Frank. He really pushes the boundaries of his art, and I can appreciate that. However, I will say this album is not my personal cup of tea. It isn't. But I feel like if someone likes very abstract and experimental music, this would be perfect for them. So, a lot of the beginning songs blended together for me, beat wise, like a lot of piano, a lot of slow. Vocals were great per usual. He sounds great, but not as varied as his debut album to me. Once again, this is my opinion. I'm gonna give this album a 5 out of 10 because I didn't enjoy it as much as his debut album, but I can understand why it's groundbreaking because it is very experimental. It is very interesting sounded. He had some guitar riffs inspired by Beach Boys, which was really interesting. I thought that was a good. Uh, I thought that was a good beat choice. I thought it was really interesting for the music and one of his songs. I can't remember which one it was, but that was cool. But yeah, overall, this album's not for me. So, like I said, I was feeling lazy this week, so I wrote a haiku. And it's inspired by Pyramids, my favorite song of his, and it's called My Sampson. Laying down with you, cut your locks, 'cause you thought you was fly, now you're down. So yeah, if you don't know the story of Samson, it's a Bible story. He was a king. I just looked this up, so I should remember. He was a king, and the power was in his hair. And he told this woman Delilah that I can't remember if they were like a couple or if they liked each other or something. They was talking. I guess we would say that we were talking. They were courting, something like that. And he told her in a vulnerable moment, "Yeah, my power's in my hair." And she cut his hair, and his enemies were able to defeat him because that's where his strength was. And in the vulnerable moment, he told her, and she cut him. So that's why I called it My Samson. And he does mention Samson in the song. He mentions a lot of, not a lot. He mentions Cleopatra, Samson, uh, and then of course the pyramids as the title. So that's the kind of imagery he's going for. I'm trying to remember if he mentions any other like biblical or historical figures, but that's the only thing I can remember. But yeah, Pyramids is a great song. Great song. Go stream it right now if you don't stream anything else. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Frank Ocean's discography. Have you seen Endless? What do you think of it? What do you think of Channel Orange and Blonde? Which one is your favorite out of the two, or do you love both equally? Do you hate one? Do you love one? What do you think of Frank Ocean? Let me know, and I will see you all next week.